Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm coming to you live today. What day is this? Monday, I think, April 21st. I'm coming to you live today from Kansas City. I'm on the Missouri side, if I recognize it correctly. Last night, if you didn't catch it, we had a late night impromptu Easter miracle come forth and a restream and a meetup last night between me and Flow State, the Powder Dusty, one of our co-creator friends here on YouTube. If you don't know the names, it's part of the lore. But if you're tuned in already with the notification, and if you're here with me in the now, you probably know some of those names. So blessings to you. Blessings to you all. I'm feeling good. Some of my reflections today, yesterday on the drive from Colorado to here, my mind wandered and I spent a lot of time with thoughts on God and life. And I made some notes, not perfectly, but then also one of the things I've been learning is one of the things that Jack needs to practice. And here, it's a tip for whoever picks it up. I need to learn how to relax, right? I need to learn how to just slow down, pay attention. I know I do talk so slow and I get self-conscious about that. And then I want to say so many different things. So then I just stumble over my words sometimes. But what does that bring? It brings confusion, and confusion doesn't help anyone. We live in a world filled with confusion and pride and some downright arrogance and foolishness, if you really think about it. But these life lessons I've learned for myself, a Tal quote again, the world might bring disappointments, losses, and pains, but it's true, a trust and a commitment to the Lord of Truth. The Lord of Truth, whatever that means to you, but realize the significance. You're seeking that which is greater than the truth. So recognizing the truth is always greater. There's always a greater aspect of it has helped me in my own peace of mind. So finding a trust and a commitment to the Lord of Truth, it will bring peace through the moments of our struggles. And life does, man. It brings us up and downs, but the key, a lot of keys to the game, one of the many keys to success and inner peace is just simply learning how to adapt and to flow. Create a healthy relationship between you and the truth of your life, right? There's truth in your life and there's illusions in your life. And then there's temporary things that don't really matter, but what are you giving your attention to? Create a healthy relationship between you and the truth of your life to know peace, faith, and perseverance. Now, the perseverance, I haven't succeeded yet, but I have survived. I've maintained and I've adapted. It's allowed me to grow, and that's what life is about. The simple fact, I mean, this is a simple conclusion I've come to, and here's what I'm doing. I realize this. I offer a lot of conclusions, some real broad concepts as well in some of the things I share. But facts matter. Facts are very critical to knowing what is true. And so having the reference that facts matter, the truth is actually found through infinite numbers of variables, infinite numbers of perspectives. That's what makes this game of life so divine. We're here experiencing infinite fields of energy and consciousness. There's no limit. There's no limit to life. That might be a misstatement, but I don't believe there's a limit to the energy. That might be a misstatement as well. Praise God, man. It's hard to be accurate when your focus is on being truthful, because there's always more sides to the story. Hey, and you know what? Sincerely, thank you, Sammy Sonite. For those tuned in, I hope the audio is coming through. I'm got it set up. I'm trying not to be too loud in case there's other guests in the area, but I hope the audio is coming through and the signal. Last night when we tried streaming, we had some connectivity issues. But sincerely, one of the things I can do better is promoting and encouraging and inviting you, whoever you are. Just hit the thumb thing, man. It doesn't hurt. And it just tells YouTube, hey, give this guy some attention. And it connects you to me too. So if you don't want that connection, don't do anything. But if you want to establish a connection, just do the simple, show that you're connected, show that you're a part of. Oh, I had so many ideas. Blessings to all of you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, I forgot to set up. I do plan on dropping the link. And I've got a bunch of notes. Again, I never know what exactly to offer anymore. Someone brought up the shirt. Thank you. Where'd that go? The great shirt. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. It's an important message. And who I am, this is what blows my mind. For those of you who are a part of this Jack Talcott story, it's unbelievable on many, many different levels. In many different ways, my life is an unbelievable story, but I consciously represent the messages that I want to share. I'm a man of peace, so I wear the emblems. I don't promote the sports teams or the corporate logos, but I support the messages and the ideals behind these organizations. Veterans for Peace. This one, the shirt, was put out by World Beyond War. Their link is in the description of all my videos. I am a fan. And the point is, I don't know how to present myself more clearly. I've been honest. I've been forgiving. I've been patient. I've been. And yet I still deal with these people from the past, man. They literally want their evidence of insanity. Here, so I don't go too far off base. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link, and we'll see what happens. What was that? I have not met Daisy yet. I'm hoping to meet Daisy. I'm actually planning to stay here in Kansas City. I think I'll depart Wednesday is the plan for right now. And I was mapping it out. Actually, I'd love for people who may join up or from the chat, I'd love some input. I was looking at the map from where I'm at on Kansas City. The goal is world peace, okay? Ending wars, ending wage slavery, taking back freedom from the banking monopoly owners, right? Changing the rules of society. That's the goal. Whether you think it can happen or not, that's the goal. And so I'm on my way to DC, and I'm wondering, should I go through Illinois or Kentucky? But hey, there she is. Amazing. Perfect timing. I see you, friend. Welcome, Ms. Dick. How are you? Did you freeze? think you froze. Unless I did. Did I freeze? Oh, I'm going to say that was you. Hey, there you are.
Am I back?
You are back already.
How's it going, Jack?
It's amazing. I was trying to figure out how to get a message to you a few days ago.
I'm getting ready to knock on the door. I'm walking up the stairs right now.
Well, you're welcome to swing by. We should meet up. We'll have a coffee or something. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I think Daisy's having some connectivity issues whatever's going on with her right now. There she is. I don't know what's going on.
It keeps kicking me out.
I think it's your connection.
It keeps kicking me. I've never had that happen. It goes to a blank and then makes me come back through the thing. No,
it could be a combination of my weak connection here and maybe other forces. I don't know. I swear I'm not doing that. Daisy, thank you. Thank you for returning. I'm not doing that. I don't know what's
kicking me out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up.
Well, it's going to kick me again.
Well, let's hope it doesn't. If it does, you're welcome.
I just thought I wanted to come up and say, hey, how you doing?
I know what you wanted to do, Daisy. I think you did. I appreciate you joining and saying hello, saying what's up. But is this who I think it is?
Hello, it's me, Jack. Happy
is.
Easter Monday.
Hey, blessings to you. Yes.
Blessings. I'm here for Easter wishes, and what a glorious weekend it has been. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Daisy.
What's up, Sam Hill?
Hey, Daisy. I'm not Sam Hill. I'm the Easter Bunny. I'm not Sam Hill. I don't know who that is.
I don't know why she's having so much difficulty with the connection.
I don't know. How are you doing? Are you still in the same hotel room that you were, or did you go on the road again?
No, this is the same place I was at last night.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut my phone off. I've never seen this before.
Daisy.
No, yeah, I'm not talking. Hold on, dude.
Okay.
Steven, please let her just get through. Easily distracted.
Well, she's gone. Happy Easter to everybody in the chat room, though. And Christ is risen. I'm here with the message as the Easter Bunny. And I hope everybody is having a great weekend. And I hope that Jack had a good sleep at the hotel that he's staying at. And you haven't been eating, though. People are worried about you. Somebody mentioned that you haven't been eating very much lately. You just had peanuts or something, or you're not eating meat. You should have some barbecue while you're there. We might as well chat while Daisy's not here, but are you feeling okay? Like you don't have an appetite, or why aren't you eating?
Well, you're jumping to the conclusion that the information you're coming with is accurate. So you're assuming that I'm so incompetent I can't take care of myself nutritionally.
No, Jack. No. I'm not assuming that you're
incompetent. You know what? Let me not exaggerate.
Okay.
Let me not take offense. But it's kind of irrelevant.
But don't be offended, Jack. I love ribs and barbecue. When Flow State said something about barbecue, Kansas City barbecue, I got hungry. I gotta be honest. I thought, damn, I could eat some ribs or barbecue, whatever barbecue. I'm down. You know what I mean?
Dude, 8 years ago, this would have been my dream. To be here in Kansas City trying all the barbecue joints. That was my dream. I was a carnivore. That's what I lived on.
So what made you not a carnivore? I'm curious. I don't think I ever heard this story. Oh, somebody's here. Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
How's it
Ducky.
going?
welcome
What's up,
to you,
Mr. Easter
Duck.
Bunny?
Hey, Dad.
Daisy.
Hello.
I'm trying it. I
Somebody's
shut
got a bit
everything
of
off.
static.
I'm trying. Dude, you're not. You know what? I don't want to waste.
No, please just share what you want before the connection jumps, Daisy.
Jack, you're like the master of the I don't know what it is. Awkward stream entrances. You know, awkward panel entrances here with technical difficulties and everything.
It's this online experience has been something fascinating for
Do you
me.
have somebody else
to,
running your shit, Jack? Is somebody else running your
No,
shit? Kicking me out?
Daisy. Whoops, here. Wrong one. Here, Daisy, please. There's nobody else. My hands are here. There's nobody else who has the keys. It's technology. It's things that are out of my control. Looks like you froze again. Okay, now this is an egoic pattern, my friend, that each of us needs to overcome. And this is what Jack Talcott does. The egoic pattern is always assuming the worst and blaming others and focusing on the problem. If we can, yes, there's a problem with the connection. We've both identified it, my friend. Okay. So now what? What do we do? Let's not complain about it. What I've been trying to offer is let's connect. My phone number, my email, we can connect any way you want. We don't have to keep pressing technology that's not working. I don't know if you're hearing me or not. I think we lost Duck now too. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what's going on, man.
I'm still here, Jack. I'm your co-host. I'll hang in there with you, co-pilot. But I hope Daisy comes back. I wanted to hear what she had to say. She keeps freezing up. I think it's on her end. I don't think it's your connection. I seem to be fine connecting with mine. So maybe Daisy has some. Daisy, if you're listening, maybe turn off one of your devices or something and spare your internet for your connection so that you can connect here. That might be a help.
It could be any number of things. And OTW, welcome to you.
Oh no.
Jack, look, I'm just telling you, I'm not here to derail the. I'm just here to have fun.
He's here for trouble. He's here for trouble.
I'm just like no, but I wanted to ask you. I asked you a question, chat. I'm broadcasting live, so I'm restreaming, but not like restreaming, and also not making fun of you, just to make sure like I'm getting that out of the way. But I do want to ask you. Okay, it's a question that has been asked over on my broadcast. What do you think of me becoming the new pope?
Why not?
Because I really feel it, Jack. I'm feeling it. I mean, the other guy's gone, and I mean, the position is open. I think I can do it. I think that I could actually make changes and become the new pope, Pope Patrick.
Pope Patrick, you're trying to take over Jack's show, though. Let's be honest here.
No,
you should have came in asking how Jack is doing. Be a little bit more polite.
I was watching. He already said all of that. I'm following the.
Okay. I'm just.
Look at my face. I mean, I came up trying to make people laugh, right? It's obviously it was kind of like making this a joking matter.
I'm just looking out for Jack, and I hope Daisy's able to reconnect. That's all. I see she's in the chat room. I'm waving. Shout out to Daisy.
Well, let's not. I appreciate that, but let's not worry too much. I actually appreciate what you're saying, Stephen. And normally I might agree, but it's an interesting question. I saw something you asked, and I can imagine that question being, but think your thoughts through. Sure, you could be the next pope. Figure out how to do it. If it's the right thing to do, you'll do it.
Well, I think I think I have to start by collecting, like, voters, or people are gonna, like, go with me on this. Well,
Probably.
I want to know if you want to support me in this, Jack. Like, are you gonna, like?
That doesn't really look like you, though, in the picture, Patrick.
It does.
I don't think that's you. That guy has better teeth.
Check out my double chin and everything. It's just awesome.
I don't know if that's you. I think that's somebody else.
All right, I don't want Jack to lose patience with me. I'll stop fooling around.
Yeah,
I can see the look on your face.
Let's pause for a moment because we got Daisy back, and let's see what we can get through. You're back. Welcome, Daisy.
For how long, I don't know.
Either do I.
I kind of wanted to see how you was doing and wanted to clarify.
Daisy, it's your connection, my friend. Go figure it out.
Yeah, it's on her end, unfortunately. But I do enjoy the paneling and the American flag. I like the background that she has. God bless America. And I'm in support. I'm here on Easter weekend.
This was a good question. Can we please get back to Jack's mission? Can you please stop taking everything like a joke?
That's what I was going to get to, Jack. I'm here in support of your trip to Washington, is what I was going to finish that with. That's what I wanted to get back to. I didn't want the show to get derailed by the Pope stuff and all that other nonsense.
I appreciate that, Stephen.
Well,
You're welcome.
Just to, like,
hold on, let's throw it back to Jack. Let's
hold on a second. I just want to point out that Jack was just already having difficulties with his other guest, and I just seemed to wanted to come and lighten up the, but I wasn't intending on continuing. Like I said, I was done with the nonsense, and I'm not here to continue on. Actually, I was really more interested in Jack's journey as well, and wanted to know more because I had, I was actually reviewing this because I wanted the update, wanted to.
Well, let's please give Jack the floor and let him fill us in on his mission of going to Washington.
I agree for once with you, Stephen.
Hey, I appreciate it. Flow state kind of last night in the thing, in the meetup we had last night, we started off with an interview. And I kind of shared more details of my journey from the date of the eviction until arriving here in Kansas City. It's been an interesting month, hasn't even been a month, but here's what I realized on the drive yesterday. The patterns of my life, they've become clear. And I was reminded, I mentioned this in last night's stream, I was reminded of an early lesson I received from my own first life coach. It's just simple and obvious. When you get a vision in your mind and in your heart, and when you can see yourself in a state of success, that's your dream, that's your vision. And it's like looking through a tunnel. You don't see all the details on how to get there. You just see some bright light far off in the distance. It seems no way possible. But if you can find that first step, you take that first step towards the achievement of your goals, towards the fulfillment of your dreams. You take that first step, and then you reevaluate. And then you re-look and you see what else you can see, because life will take us off in these very different directions that will lead us into totally different realities. That's been the pattern of my life. So here's the point. I'm practicing what I preach, right? When the eviction came, I got to accept the facts. There's no point complaining. There's no point whining. There's no point blaming. The facts are the facts. It's time to move on. So I grab what I need and I move on. Well, what does that mean? Move forward. If you don't have a direction, if you don't have a goal, you're just wandering. You're lost. I'm not lost. I know who the fuck I am. I know what I'm here to do. I am here to follow in the way of the perfected master, Yeshua, Christ, Jesus, the Savior. I am here to follow in his ways. His ways are peace and love, and they are so rewarding on the inside. I would not change any of the choices I've made. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, particularly with the recent change of events. I wouldn't change a choice I made. Now, do I wish I'd have paid more attention to some of the red flags? Do I wish I'd have been more calm, more patient? Do I wish I wouldn't have been so angry and frantic? Of course. But that's how we learn. And I forgave me. I've learned how to forgive me. So the point is, when we move forward, so what happens when you arrive to DC? This is where I've been doing a lot of mental preparation, but I haven't actually put pen to paper or actually started the actions yet. But the goal is to bring a voice of reason into the...
Yeah, I'm going to leave now. Oh, sorry, Jack.
No, go ahead. I'm having problems. I wonder what happened. I don't know what's going on.
It sounds good now, Jack, actually. I can hear you.
Thank you.
It was just for about 20 seconds, maybe. We could still hear you. Your audio's fine now.
I appreciate it.
Keep going.
Hey, thank you. The idea is, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. But I know that my goal is to speak with the men and women with the responsibility and the duty of administrating and governing the United States corporation and its land. I want to speak to the bosses of America. So how am I going to do that? I don't yet know. I do know that with a couple of phone calls from people who I know, it could be easily arranged. I mean, I could have everything set up by the time I physically got to Washington, D.C. and just show up scheduled and invited. And then I could get these messages across. And what I'm trying to suggest, guys, is it's kind of pretty obvious. The more I've been looking at it, I can't unsee it. The world is insane. Selfishness corrupts mankind. Hello. You want a little bit of, it's not the absolute. It's not enough to go convict them, but a billionaire status, that's a pretty good sign of hoarding. It's of, an emotional insecurity. So we've got these emotionally insecure, trauma-driven people running the corporation of America. So the point is, Donald Trump, he knows what he's doing. He's not dumb. I won't call the man dumb. He's very strategic. And so he's surrounded himself with a lot of great minds who he can trust, who have credibility and experience. Well, I don't necessarily have that credibility and experience, but I have an education in trauma and spirituality that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and many of these other men and women, they desperately need. And not only, here's what I know. When I look at what I want to do, okay, I want to achieve a goal. I want to do something, whether it's for myself or others. I consider, what are the results, the greater results? Who is this going to affect? What are the domino effects? And if you think about these things, and if Donald Trump found God, Donald Trump truly humbled himself as a man devoted to the truth, a man who is willing to die for love. That's the image of Christ. If Donald Trump found God and the willingness to follow me, right? Follow what Jack did, become a better man, become a better version of who he used to be. If Donald Trump would do that, God, his family would be so happy. The American people would be ecstatic, particularly his supporters. His supporters would be able to say, see, I told you so, you know, when he turns out to be a good guy. But right now, man. Hey, Chuck, what is this? No, you know what, Chuck? You should learn how to have a conversation with me. I'm committed to doing better. And actually with Stephen here, Stephen pays attention.
Yes. And I'm willing to help out. I'll mediate if you need me.
I believe you are. But this question from Chuck, no, Christ was promoting God. Yeah, no shit, Chuck. Have you heard me promoting God just once or twice, maybe? No, you can't find any of that in me. And you can't imagine Donald Trump promoting God? I don't understand your
I don't think Chuck's paying attention. I don't think Chuck's paying attention. He's chiming in with this stuff and he doesn't really listen to what you're saying. He must not be paying attention all this time. Chuck, you've been snoozing this whole time, or maybe you're senile or something. But I mean, Jack's here every day talking about this stuff. I don't know how you could miss the point that much.
Hey, Stephen, legitimately, this is kind of what I was trying to get across when I pointed out the branding. I wear who I am. I'm all about peace and love and the environment and animals and all sorts of shit. I care about things that people care about. So why hasn't people from my past, such as Chemo and Charles Smith and these others, they want to enable people like Snafu, modern day. When I was at the campground, I was Charles, for the first time in many years, allowed me a conversation with him. He'd still rather see me as a liar and someone who can't be trusted. And so he's blind to everything good in me. Mm-hmm. Stephen, this is what I realized. There's another Tal quote coming. And it was in thoughts about Charles, what he's doing to me. And all of us in our relationships, we get in these spats and people get all strong up in their head and they're convinced. And then relationships are ended. Well, the reality is people change and misunderstandings happen. People don't always understand accurately, but golly geez, man, you get liars around together. They convince themselves of all sorts of stupid things.
Well, there is something in the Bible, it's biblical, where it says there's a strong delusion. So maybe they're under this strong delusion and they can't see that Jack has changed. They don't want to listen and pay attention. They're under this strong delusion. And I think that might apply to Chuck in Tennessee. I think Chuck might be under a strong delusion.
He's part of the American society. It comes in many different forms. Some of the egos are real cruel and real successful, real controlling. They're the billionaire class. And then there's the egos that they go through life doing what they're told to do, saying what they're told to say, because they don't really think for themselves. They're taught to obey.
Following the crowd. They're just kind of going along. They're not paying attention. They're not really listening with their spirit to hear what's going on and realizing that that they don't have it all figured out. Chuck a lot of times compares you to him, I've noticed, when he comes on here. But he doesn't listen to Jack. He doesn't listen to what Jack's saying. And I think that's the problem. That's the crux of the problem, why Chuck doesn't understand Jack. He's not listening.
Well, I was thinking about that. What that is it's selective listening. It's selective memory. So if someone is choosing what parts they will and will not think about, they will and will not hear. I mean, this is where the stupidity is in relationships. I'll never speak to them again. Okay, so that means you're choosing to stay ignorant. You're willfully choosing to stay in the dark. You want to keep what they say a secret from yourself. Well, this selective memory, it's a sign of ego foolishness. It's the way that man places itself above God. It's how I describe what I figured out in myself. I was placing myself above God when I was focusing on what I thought I knew. I wasn't noticing what I didn't know. I wasn't noticing what I wasn't paying attention to. Well, this selective memory is what people use to defend their unforgiveness. There's so many examples in my past. Everyone has chosen to ignore and diminish all the good things I ever did for them. Everything. None of that fucking matters anymore. Why? Because selective memories. Selective memories and unforgiveness are insanity. And Chuck in Tennessee, I am so sick of you throwing accusations at me all the time, right? You're constantly, when you're around me, Chuck, you need to look at your behavior. I've tried pointing it out to you. Other people have tried pointing it out to you, Chuck. Only you can look at you.
Yep, I've noticed it. Jack's noticed it. I think Denizen has noticed it, and others that have been on here. They pointed it out to Chuck, and he just does not want to see it. He doesn't want to look at his own behavior. He's got a selective memory, and I think he's under the strong delusion that they mentioned in the Bible. But you know, Jack, to focus on something positive, Jack is on a holy mission to Washington. And he has the Holy Spirit. Now, if the Holy Spirit can enter Jack and change his life, why couldn't it change Elon and Trump, as Jack has said? This is something that people need to consider because God works wonders and miracles. So the Holy Spirit can enter and speak through anybody on earth, even a politician, even someone that's wrapped up in politics or the White House or whatever Elon Musk is with his companies and all that corporate stuff. The Holy Spirit, God works using the Holy Spirit, and miracles can be done that way.
That's what I'm trusting, actually. And here is the truth. I've been thinking about what do I say if I get someone's attention in DC? What is it I'm offering? Well, I am offering a very unique and supported perspective in the methods and processes of emotional healing and in spirit, the spiritual nature of who we are. I'm devoted. I am a man. I never thought I would I never thought my life would come to this point, but this is the truth. I have become a devotee to God. So what does that mean? Well, I live my life ready to serve, to be grateful, to be with faith, to be with love, to follow the example of Jesus. And so if I make it to DC, I can honestly say God has brought me there.
Yes. I would agree with that. I don't think that Jack did it on his own. I think God brought him there. If he's able to make it to DC and talk with these people, these folks that Jack wants to speak with, and then that is proof. And I don't know why people like Chuck, lack so much faith. But on a positive note, I hope you wake up, Chuck. I hope you start seeing clearly and you get on the same page, and you, instead of being a man of little faith, you start becoming a man of more faith.
We all have faith. I used to believe I had no faith. I used to believe I lacked imagination, right? Because I couldn't paint or sculpt or do those things. But I had an incredible imagination, and I had incredible amounts of faith. It is through the imagination that we find answers. It's through the imagination that we find problems. It's through the imagination we find it all. So when I started realizing that, and I started playing with that, practicing that, it is the truth. It is through the mind of imagination that we can reach the infinite and the creator and the creative source. It's available to us to connect to. It's through the mind, and the mind only opens when the heart gives it permission, I guess. God closes our hearts. God opens our minds. But each of us have a unique relationship with God. God has delegated authority of our lives. This is Jack's way of explaining it, right? What makes sense to me?
Yes.
The creator of the universe, the Father that Jesus spoke of, it creates and sustains. It brings forth. And Jesus is the way, the Christ. It's the example of perfection. I imagine when God created the heavens and the earths and had us in mind already, that the idea for after we came into being was that we would learn that humanity would become this glorious, united, God-loving species here on earth, to be the royal kings and queens here on earth, tending to Mother Earth and all of its creatures, not fucking animal sacrifice and for-profit butchery. I mean, the world is nuts. The world is absolutely insane. And don't use the food or the animal thing as just a distraction. I mean, I'm talking, the world is not what we think it is. And yet it's so much more than what we think it is. Hey, you tell me, blessings, I am serious. I'm all about meeting people. If anyone wants to meet up, hit me up. Serious. I extended the stay. I'm here till Wednesday. I wanted to jump back to a different topic, but I've been bouncing around. Stephen, what are your thoughts? Anything?
Well, Jack is a man of the people. He's willing to meet you. You should meet up with him, you tell me. The ones that are in Kansas City, that would be fantastic to meet up with Jack while he's there. Don't miss the opportunity. And I want to say that I enjoyed what Jack was saying about the mind and the imagination and working through the heart. And that makes sense. And I just want to add one more quick thing and say that I think certain people may have imagined Jack to be someone he's not. So they're in the wrong imagination. When they think of Jack as somebody that he isn't, they should be seeing Jack as a man of God that's on a holy mission, instead of imagining him to be someone he's not. That Charles character, or these different snafu and these different people, they're in their false imagination. That's what I think. They're in their false imagination, and they're kind of paranoid and getting wrapped up in all this stuff. And they should just see what's going on and maybe take a second look. And I hope they do. I really hope that they break free from the delusion.
I trust that it will. I trust that people will come around. Here. Okay, Sammy, that's a name I'm not sure of. Caroline Leavitt, who's running things. I'm assuming she's associated with Trump, but serious. Someone out there does have a connection to someone in the system, and someone in the system can be friendly to the idea of, hey, yeah, let's see if we can end wars. Let's see if we can end slavery. Because these are the goals I'm talking about. People's opinions of me shouldn't really matter. We should be focused on, okay, should this goal be supported or should it not be supported? Now, I've received a lot of people, it should not be supported because it's not realistic. For those who don't understand all the pieces, sure, it seems completely unrealistic. But what I find to be unrealistic right now is what the world is doing. Mm-hmm. It's unreal to me what Israel is doing. It's put out on the news every single day. There's what, 2 million people? There was 2 million people in Palestine, just this small geographical area where they're sending all fucking missiles and bombs and tanks. There's not even places. The hospitals are destroyed. They're not allowing humanitarian aid. No food, no water is being even brought in. And these people in a war zone, they have no way of growing their own, being self-dependent like everybody thinks you should be. It's not realistic. It's unreal that we charge. I've been saying this since I was a kid. It's unreal that we charge human beings money to learn and live.
Absolutely. And it's hell on earth there right now in Palestine, that whole region bombed out. And it's unsustainable that we live this way. Something has to change. So people have to get with the idea that things need to change.
We've got a Mr. in the back. I think
I don't know. Or her.
Mr. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. I've been trying to come on panel for a while, actually like 3 weeks. Kind of feel like something's been preventing me from doing so. Last night I saw you on Flo's channel and tried the same thing, kept getting stopped. It's just weird how that stuff happens. From a perspective of someone that looked real evil in the face in the summer of 2013, I hear some of the stuff that you have said about objective truth and that kind of thing, and I kind of see the connections to the evil narratives that are going on in the world right now. And so, I mean, if I could give a little bit of critique and maybe help with some perspective regarding, thing that, I do approve of what Trump is doing, but I feel like this war stuff is a trap for him, specifically with Iran. I think if he goes into all-out war with Iran, it's going to be really bad. But maybe try reaching out and getting a press pass if you can, because I've heard they've gotten a little bit more friendly with independent media lately. So
well, Trump does talk to the press a lot. That's actually a good idea. He does answer a lot of questions. So go ahead.
I would try reaching out and seeing if you can get a press pass, because they've been letting a lot more independent media into the their circles lately.
Do you know how to do that, Mr.? Do you have connections on how to get a press pass for an independent?
I've heard it. I mean, I study this stuff every day, but I heard it. I can't remember who said it. It's like you got to go to crap. What's the name of it? It's like the White House. They have this little group that governs everything that happens inside the White House.
Hey,
I don't remember the name of it.
Right, Mr. I might be mistaken, But based on what I heard you say, I've received that information. I explored that information. I think it's another red herring that the administration is throwing out, putting on a pretend show. We're friendlier to the press. It's a bunch of bullshit. And I don't want to go there acting like I'm a press agent to interview the guy. I'm there to have a conversation with him about his unacceptable methods of leadership. That's my opinion, but I'll use different words than that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you go there, just think about it for a second, right? How are you going to do that? Are you going to demand that you talk to the president of the United States, like outright?
What is the goal? My goal is not just to get there and have a conversation. What is my goal?
World peace, right?
Yes.
End all wars and stop the lies. Yeah,
I agree. I'm down with that, definitely. Yeah. I'm just saying, go ahead. Sorry.
Here's where I spent. I mean, I've gone back and forth with this. What am I doing? What am I doing? I feel like I'm a lone voice screaming in the fucking woods and nobody's listening. The echo's calling me an idiot. You know, that's what I'm getting back. But when I look at the facts, are we better off because of war? Because of the military-industrial complex?
No.
Because of the oppression and the manipulation? No.
As a world, no, not at
Right.
all. No.
So who's going to change it? It's
Jack Talcott is my response, because no one else has been this devoted and come this far. Look at what Jack has done. And El Perro, I don't know, and welcome Dennison. I'm not sure if you guys have anything to offer ideas for how Jack could accomplish his mission, but yeah, maybe the press pass wouldn't be the right thing. It's not really what Jack wants, and they can shut that down.
It's a helpful idea. I don't mean to diminish the good intention.
Yeah, I don't want to shit on the new guy that came on.
No.
Denizen, do you have any better ideas, or El Perro?
Well, yeah, Jack, you know, good to see you again. And I just wanted everybody to know I caught the fast train to Washington, so I'm waiting here for you, Jack. The premise here, folks, is the ability to want to communicate and express the willful intent all the way along the way, which is nothing but good. I don't see what anybody can see bad about that. So the only premise that you're denying Jack the possibility that he's going to talk with the president is your own dismissal of faith.
It seems very improbable, and I can understand that. But because of the life I've lived, because of the men and women who I have spoken with, looked at face to fucking face, I've shaken these people's hands. Because of the life I've lived, I have confidence that if given the chance, I am the guy for this job.
Well, and think about this too. What power do the people have in anything to do with government, particularly their own delegation of powers to that government through consent, if that government doesn't listen to them? If that government doesn't communicate with them?
Yeah, I agree.
I heard from one of the early philosophers, right? I think it was, I don't know the names. There's a lot of names. One of the early principles that the Declaration of Independence was built upon, the Constitution, is the pursuit of life, liberty, and justice, happiness, right? Prosperity. We have those rights not because of the government. We have those rights because they are ours as men and women.
Inalienable, God-given, right? Yes. Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
And so if we carry that through, coming back to what El Perro was just saying, I think, is to carry that through, we have a responsibility, an obligation, and a duty to stand against any systems that fail to provide those fail to protect those. And I say the American government as a whole has been failing. It has failed to protect every American consumer and citizen from the selfishness and the manipulation and exploitation of the banking systems and the corporate systems. These are the demons, the beasts that were prophesied.
Yes. Yeah, I am on the same page there. The demons. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are not given by governments, as Jack just said. These are our rights, inalienable, not for them to give or take away.
Does that go? Is that the same for the parentally challenged? Do they have a right to life, even though it's written in the Constitution?
Sorry,
what are you doing?
The who?
I said the parentally challenged. I can't say the word. The unborn. Do they have a right to life, as it's written in the Constitution?
Why are you going there? Is there a connection other than just another divisive argument? The abortion discussion, I guess that's where you're taking us.
There is no other creature on this. There is no other creature on this planet that forcibly expels one of their young. None. It's an atrocity of mankind alone.
Yeah, there's beasts that eat their young. There's
after something natural has occurred, but to do so in an unnatural way by forcibly removing it through utensils, I think that's disgusting.
Well, there's advantages and disadvantages to the development of our medical systems. Okay, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of room for improvement. But the way I see this abortion discussion, it is a tactic of division. Keep the people divided, you keep them controlled, right? So if we're gonna start focusing on the value of life, particularly of the unborn, let's turn towards the born. When do we start giving a shit about the men and women who actually survived childhood and are now in war zones, natural disaster zones? They're living in poverty. When are we going to do something about them?
United we stand, divided we fall. They want to divide us, right? You're saying divide and conquer. So they want to divide us so that we can't get anything done. Jack's on a mission to accomplish something here, whether people realize it or not. That's what's going on. And if they say that it's implausible, well, that's how miracles happen. Yes. That's like telling Jesus, well, guess what? On the surface, it might not seem possible, but it happened. That's where faith comes in. That's where miracles happen. And that's what Jack is talking about, I think.
And that coming together is one of those miracles that's stated in Acts 2, verse 47, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved.
I'm not sure where you took that one, but I think I get it.
That's the bringing together of all the people, all those that deserve to be saved. Yes. Those that deserve to be saved are not perfect. We're all sinners, no matter what color, shape, size, sex.
No one's anything. Perfect, but we can come together, right?
Now,
is what you're saying.
I'm sorry I'm reacting. This word, so many people want to defend the idea that we're not perfect.
Okay.
In whose eyes, right? This is what I see as part of the problem. Let me address this. Arpol, blessings to you sincerely, man. For those who are willing, able, and feeling generous and moved, please, we can all use support, and finances help, especially when you're on the road and trying to travel. So for those who are willing, thank you, Arpol.
And I'm in agreement, with that, Jack. But my premise here is that neither one of us thinks the other one is perfect, and that's why we behold things against each other. because we have our own intrinsic standards that we try to hold other people up to. It's not to do with the, the Most High. He seemingly, according to the scripture, treats everybody the same.
El Perro, you just keyed in on it. The goal we want to have is to see the perfection in others, despite the obvious evidence, despite the clear foolishness and ignorance, because that's what love does. When we fall in love, truly, the love that I imagine from God, from what I've heard and what I've felt, it's this love that just, it's overwhelming. It's
the perfect love. Is that what you're getting at? Okay. Now it makes sense. I get what you're saying now.
There's depths of love that I did not know were possible. Why? Because I had a timid mind that convinced myself that I was unworthy of love unless I did this, unless I did that. Unless I was perfect, I wasn't worthy of love. That's the way I felt. And I sure wasn't perfect. That was obvious, but I never claimed to be perfect. I had tons of excuses. But then I stopped relying on my excuses. And here's what I'm thinking is happening. At some point in the near future, God's going to allow a realization and a shift. And the things that people have been ignoring will no longer be ignored. And they're going to have an awakening, a reckoning. They'll have a metanoia. They'll have a shift in their mind. And they're going to repent. And when that happens, people are going to start taking life more seriously rather than memories.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key, guys. There's a subtle there's subtleness to these words, man. The distinctions of words. Dang it, forgot what I was trying to reinforce.
The beauty of life, perfection, love. We're in the moment, not living in memories in the past.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take life more seriously than memories.
Yes.
You realize that's what emotional trauma is, unhealed trauma. It's unresolved memories. Simple as that.
Yes. I know what you're getting at. I've looked into that a little bit over the years, and that makes perfect sense. The unresolved trauma, and I don't want to derail the show at all. I just want to give a shout out quickly because Melanie mentioned my name. Shout out to Melanie. I'm glad that you did wash your hair. You took my advice. Good to see you, and it's good to have you here. Miracles,
Yes.
Miracles. It's we're in a time of miracles when you think about it. We're in a special time, I think.
I know we are. But then the more I become, the more confident I feel that we are in a special time, the more I realize how special all time has always been. All time that we get to breathe, all time that we get to speak to one another. These are rare gifts, rare opportunities. Not everyone's going to make it through today.
That's true.
We
should cherish our time. Yeah, we should cherish the moment. Good to see you, Denizen. You've been very quiet, but I wanted to bring you in here if I could, if I may. Denizen, how have you been, brother?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. It's good to have you here. What are your thoughts on what we've been talking about?
Well, I've been quiet mostly because I didn't want to. I didn't feel like being in the spirit of disagreement. I haven't really agreed with anything I've heard so far since I came up here, and I don't. I didn't want to be the negative Nancy,
Fascinating, but you held your tongue, so that was respectful. That was.
I'll speak my mind if I think that the disagreement will bring us to an area of agreement, of cooperation. If I see it completely splitting off into, just me versus you or me versus them or whatever, then I tend to listen.
Well, can I ask you something, Denizen,
Yeah.
related to this? Do you believe in miracles? Like, do you believe miracles happen in this realm we're in, or are you someone that doesn't?
Sort of. I'm an atheist, right?
Yes, I figured you were.
Yeah. So Jack and I have discussed publicly the concept of miracles and how they're possible, and how even as someone who doesn't believe in miracles per se, I know that miraculous things can happen. And so you can't always be too sure about the future, and you never know the way something's going to end up unless you try it out.
Well, let me ask you something less vague. Do you think that Jack is destined on his mission? Do you believe in destiny, that this is destiny, the mission that he's currently on? Would you,
No, I don't.
even as an atheist? Okay.
No, I don't believe in destiny for anyone. So,
one of the things I respect many things about you, Denizen. Thank you for returning. It's good to have you back. And that moderation, self-moderating the disagreements, realizing not every battle has a place. Not every disagreement has relevance. I do appreciate that. The other side of that, I don't know how I'm wrong. I really don't. I can explain the conclusions I come to in many different ways. So it's bringing memories of thoughts I was thinking earlier. I spent a lot of time wondering about thoughts, thoughts and inspirations. It is only through the practice of having a calm mind, a mind that's at peace, a heart that feels comfort. It's through that connection in the present that the mind starts to wander, starts to know greater things. That's been my experience, at least. It's in the calmness that we progress. It's in the rest that we find growth. It's so important for us to take time each day to genuinely take this shit seriously. Your life depends on it. Spend time figuring you out, because the more you can understand you, the more you know you, the more you can trust you. The more you can trust you, the more you can love you. And if you can love you and trust you wherever you go, you ain't got nothing to worry about. That's how I feel. But go ahead.
I have a kind of an advantage too, I think, because I'm getting old, and I've accomplished some things. Like there are things that I wanted in life that I wanted to experience, that I thought were important, and I have done a lot of them. I've seen a lot of the things that I wanted to see. I understand a lot of the things I want to understand, and I'm not so afraid of death anymore as a result of it. Which for me is it's profound to say, because I'm a life addict. Like if they come out with technology, if Elon makes it so that you can have a robot body, I'm gonna be one of those people that get made fun of routinely. Because
Robotism, really?
It's part of my language, but I want more life, fucker. That quote from Blade Runner? That's me. Like I'm the Nexus. I'm going to if I meet my creator, that will be my demand. Is I want more life.
It's been given. Everything we want.
If I meet my creator. Interesting statement.
Said by an atheist, which is interesting. It is interesting.
He was quoting. I get the point. An addiction to life is a real easy thing to acquire, but you got to evaluate what you want. I had to evaluate what I wanted. For a long time, I thought I wanted to die. What I wanted to die from was my old lifestyle. I wanted to die from my old behavior, my old reality. Once I chose not to die, I wanted to live. And you got to ask yourself, what is the point of living sometimes?
Yeah.
If you don't have, well, honestly, in my experience, life became worth living when I had others, when I had love I shared. Then it was worth living. Then when that was gone, I thought love was gone, but it wasn't. The love strengthened, because what I got to learn in my own personal life is the relationship I have with love is the relationship I have with God. The relationship I have with God is rewarded with the relationship with love that I feel. And all that we feel, it is by, consider this thought, it is an absolute. If you can accept it, I believe it's an absolute, that there is no thing that will occur without the grace or allowance of God.
Well, Jack, you have a relationship with God, as you said, and a relationship with love. Denizen's an atheist, so I guess he doesn't have a relationship with God. But Denizen, do you have a relationship with love?
I have a love-hate relationship with love.
I'd encourage you to ask yourself, what would help you get over the hate? So it's only a love relationship with love.
The answer, most of the answers I come up with that are external sources. If
Like
I internalize it, sorry, go ahead.
Like girlfriend, wife, family, things like that.
Yeah, but even people that I don't even know, but on a different scale, right? So I think when you say that scale is you're correct. Your answer is correct. But then if I'm to resolve that internally, it has to encompass the entire scale, and that's where I see difficulty.
Okay. You've got resistance because you want to selectively choose. I might be describing that wrong, but I think I get what you're saying. There's problems, and so you're having challenges overcoming the reasons to love, especially when there's so much evidence why you should not. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is where maybe this is a stretch, but Christ sitting there on the cross, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. I mean, that's a powerful, divine, as you're facing death and after already been destroyed bodily and abused, to seek forgiveness for them, to claim that they don't know. They fucking knew what they did to him. They chose to do what they did to him. Does that mean Christ was wrong? I don't know enough to judge what should be good or bad. I just know what I want and what I don't want.
Okay.
Well,
so how do you love someone who's filled with what you don't want and acts upon it, an agent of what you don't want? Like let's say, for example, a police officer, someone who puts on a shield of the things that you find abhorrent and wears a uniform and takes an oath to uphold evil, and then goes out and does it on a daily basis.
It's the way you view it. Because the police, I get it. They're performing in roles that you disapprove of, and same could be said for military, human traffickers, child abductors. You're right. They're all similarly aligned. They're doing a role that is atrocious for a paycheck. It's atrocious in some perspectives. In other perspectives, it solves a problem. How do you love that? Understand the good in what it is that others are doing, even if the good that they're doing is obvious insanity. You can understand why people do what they do if you see what they're doing as good, because they do. Does that make sense?
You think child traffickers see themselves as doing good?
Yep. Hey, actually, this is perfect because it brings up a conversation we had last night with Flow State and our buddy Chuck and some others, talking about you got to get a job, man. You got to go out and get a job. You got to do what you have to do. No, slaves do what they have to do. Free men and women do what they choose to do.
And just for me personally, I don't know about anybody else, but I could not live or love while I was in corporate America. And to the extent to which I detached myself from it, I was able to live and love more. Like even the level in which I was mired or surrounded by it or dependent on it. So like
you came out of corporate America? I thought you were an anarchist or something. Are you?
What's an anarchist?
What's an anarchist? Well, no rulers, no masters, no believe in governance, authority. Yeah, I would describe it that way.
Yeah, but I still, corporate America kind of runs the show. So if you want to,
but did you have it like a Wall Street job or office job or something?
Yeah, I had a desk job and then an office job.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, anyway,
and I transferred into IT, which was far less corporate than the job I was in. It's still very corporate, but it gave me certain freedoms. You're treated differently, right, in that rung of corporate America, and the disparity between the two really gave me some insight.
And that's what Jack was getting at with not wanting to be a slave, right? Jack was just saying, "Go ahead, Jack. I think you wanted to jump in."
For me personally, I couldn't do it as long as I was an employee. It poisoned me too much.
Well, what I heard you saying, it made perfect sense to me. Because to fit in with the corporatocracy, whatever, to fit into that society, you've got to deny who you really are so that you become a part of the system. So
8 to 10 hours a day easily.
Yep. And so you're not loving yourself. So how the fuck are you going to love others?
I remember warning myself too when I was getting my first job. I was like, okay, you really have to compartmentalize this. You're going to spend 8 hours a day being a piece of shit, lying sack of fucking evil, right? And but you can't let go of who you really are. You got to make sure you hold on to it. And I don't think I did, man. I lost, right? Like corporate America I'm barely remembering who I was, and I've been retired now for over 5 years. I'm barely remembering the person I was before I got into all that,
It took the denizen out of you, is what you're saying.
It
the
did,
job.
It absolutely did, dude.
Well, that narrative you told yourself was a big part of it. Because if you'd have found a way to see the value in what you were doing, and there is, right? Especially if you go into a leadership management position where you've got more influence and direction in the operation and the administration of people. It's, oh, I lost where I was going.
I was worried about the negative aspects
Thank you.
instead of the positive or the good in it.
Yep, you were telling yourself the negative aspects, and then you're judging yourself because you're seeing yourself doing what you judged as wrong. Now, this is the past. So this is learning experience. I've done the exact same thing, right? That's why I know it.
100%. That's, you defined it.
His
perfectly.
negative narrative set him up in a way before he started that first job. The negative narrative that he told himself, "Oh, I got to do this, and I got to keep."
It's
Yeah,
It's possible. It's possible. We've got to prove to ourselves that we're worthy. That's what I had to do. And I think that's what a lot of us are doing. When I see people making their lives more difficult for themselves, they got to learn. They got to figure out how to do it the hard way, do it for themselves. And there is a divine teacher with us. In the Bible and the scripture, it's talked about as the Holy Spirit. That spirit of guidance and instruction, it's there to lead us. And I think our spirit, man, has my spirit has a fucking hilarious sense of humor because my life is a joke. It is so funny.
I'm true to my own spirit. I'm a free spirit. I'm not a slave, or I have a sovereign's view, and I don't just mean as a king. I mean as a free spirit, not a slave, and that's how I mean it. But
Have you ever been an employee?
An employee?
Yeah.
Like getting my hands dirty and taking orders from someone, or?
I mean,
No.
I don't want to
No,
say like that because, like, if I respected somebody and they put me to hard work and bossed me around, it would feel fulfilling. You know, I'd be fulfilled in the work and the relationship. Okay. By employee, I mean, have you ever had to sell yourself out for 8 hours a day?
Haven't. Thankfully, no, I haven't. But I've tried to stay true to myself and true to my spirit. And when you were saying about how the job, the first job, corporate America you had, that kind of sucked the soul out of you and who you are, it would be like Noelle trying to live without straws or something. Like she wouldn't be Noelle anymore. You know what I mean? It would just be it wouldn't be her anymore. Oh, did she give them up?
I think she's trying to quit.
Man, I'm behind. I'm out of the loop then. I didn't know that. Wow.
And on that topic, I've got one of my little notes here.
Let's see it.
I don't know if I can get closer.
I see Kitty.
It says, know yourself, know your worth. It's a fortune cookie thing. And that's one of those things that you were touching on with the getting into that 8-hour wage slave and losing yourself.
Every time I reminded myself of that note, which is very important, I would agree with you. But just to be clear, that's when I would get fired and have to find another job.
Amazing.
America is not down with the knowing your worth and knowing yourself shit.
Exactly.
That.
Well, that's
Sorry.
why I've had such a hard time with employment throughout my life. And, you know, it's because in my aspect, if I see a problem as an employee even, that's causing me issues where I might not be able to make my compensable wages as foreseen. In other words, if I'm being held back, I'm going to open my mouth. They don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm convinced, guys, that we're evidence. We're evidence, and we're here to learn from the evidence. We know this society is fucked. It's backwards.
Yeah. It's done for, man. In a lot of ways, I see it as a rotting corpse.
A bunch of
that, like, because time is so slow that, like, we don't even know our society's already dead. We're trying to save it, or maybe even some are trying to resuscitate it. I think it's rotting.
Yeah,
only something new can come out of this.
Yeah, it won't be taken over by robots. That won't be a problem because we've already got nothing but bitch ass slaves.
But you guys are going down a dystopian path here. I think Jack's doing it.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to leave it on.
I mean, this is what Jack and I always talk about when we're alone. It's our main disagreement.
But
and I don't want to leave on a bad note real quick. I too have been a bitch ass slave, folks. So just saying, be blessed and have a good day. I gotta go get a nap.
much
Okay,
love.
Keith.
Good to see you again, Jack.
Blessings to
Kenne
you.
deinen Wert is German for know your worth. Kenne deinen Wert. Know your worth, Keith, is what you said. But go ahead, Jack.
Here, the idea of the rotting corpse, it's natural. The flowers grow from shit, right? So mankind threw a big pile of shit in Washington, D.C. Let's stop ignoring the big pile of shit that's in Washington, D.C., and let's put it to some actual use, right? Let's get some growth out of what's available there. Because there were beautiful seeds planted. The idea of America becoming this land of the free that is, welcomes the poor and the lost, that becomes a safe haven for others. Those seeds were planted, but we lost our way. And when I say we, I'm talking about generations before us. We're all to blame, and yet nobody's to blame. We're here to celebrate. This game of life, it's a unique lifetime experience, right? It's an adventure of a lifetime. Life is. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know if we don't try, whatever we don't try is probably not going to happen. But I want to try. I want to try and see this world have wars ended and economic reforms so that we can really start addressing the absolute disgusting, the wealth disparity that is, it's so unbelievable in my mind. In my mind right now is the videos of these African children in Central America, children in Afghanistan, in Palestine, in Ukraine. I know I'm not alone. I know, call out the children to get the hearts bleeding, but we are the children. We're the children who God sent into this world to discover who we are. And we're not helpless. We're not hopeless. We're only sinners if we choose to be. I choose.
We are the world. We are the children, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, that's what came right into my mind. But I haven't. We are the world. We are the children.
To change the world, so let's stop singing. Isn't that it?
We are the world. We are the children.
They stop preaching
Jack,
about
I want to
change
support
and get
what
down
you said.
to
When you said about Washington and the shit pile, Thomas Jefferson said the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is the natural manure. So that relates to the shit pile. But we don't have to refresh it with blood. We can refresh it with love. We don't have to have a bloody revolution or a bloody conflict.
I don't think humans are ready for that yet.
No, thank you. This is the lesson we've learned.
I think they're playing it out right now, Jack. The proof is in the pudding.
What do you mean?
And the only difference is you're ready. And that's why there's a disconnect between you and the world. Because the world is doing this, is thinking the same things we are. Maybe not on the same level, maybe they're not conscious of it, but they're going through the same experiences you and I and Steven and everybody else is.
The winds of change are blowing now.
And they're just killing each other and beating each other up more. It's getting worse. There's less peace.
The world I live in, dude, my online, my social media algorithms, how I spend my day is filled with inspiration and light and love. I do check in on the news, brief moments in the day, but it's just to try and pay attention to what the theater, what's happening on the world stage. There's a shift happening, Denizen. Whether people like it or not, whether they realize it or not, God is real. We are part of that which is real. We are part of God's plans, the divine plans, the universal plans. It's all coming together. What are we going to do? I've been saying this for years. Donald Trump was exactly what he was, a blessing from God. He was exactly what America wanted and needed. God gives us what we want. What we think we want is not always in our best needs, though. And what Donald Trump is doing is he's perpetuating the same old patterns of the past, dealing with wealth and authority. That's what he finds to be American supremacy, wealth and authority. I say wealth and authority are lies. They're illusions. They mean nothing. Nothing means anything unless we give it meaning. And so, in the bigger philosophical application of life, it's something that I've been learning how to do myself, is to be a little more dead inside, to allow things not to matter, right? It does and does not matter. What really matters is what we do. And if you don't take control of you,
can I ask you a question, Jack?
Please.
Do you believe a utopia on Earth is possible? A perfect government?
The kingdom of heaven is upon us. The kingdom of heaven is eternally present. It's to be known. It's a state of existence. It's a state of experience, of being. Now, is there a perfect government? Is that available? Are we willing to try? I am. I believe that individuals improve, the government can improve with transparency. What does transparency mean? It means honesty. It means no secrets, no hidden agendas. It means that people can ask questions and questions can be answered, right? It's a simple.
Would a utopia even have to have a government? If we're thinking bigger, why would we even need a government?
This is where my views kind of, again, I challenge a lot of different beliefs because I see some of the value in the UN, the New World Order, some of their agendas. There's value in some of those things. The question of, do we need governance? We need order, okay? And we find order through administration and oversight. Administration and oversight are actually what authority is paid to do, but they've twisted the responsibility and people have become dependent on illusions. We need to be dependent on the facts. And so, sorry to such a long answer, but I'd like to see us redefine what government means, what economy means. Hell, we can redefine what politics means. We can redefine everything as long as we stay honest.
Yes.
Here, I've imagined the workplace, right? I'm a labor guy. What brings us equality in unions and the boss relationship? It's through communication. Because when the union speaks with the bosses on equal playing fields, by law, by agreement, by the structure and the governance of the land we live in, there's supposed to be fair and equal communication available, right? And so when the parties can meet and discuss with each having actual facts, it levels the playing field. Well, we can overcome even the downfalls that the unions have come to. There's good and bad in the union organization and in the structure with that in the corporation. But sorry, I'm long-winded. The point I'm getting at is if there was actual communication, full transparency from the top to the bottom, every employee was treated with equality in an organization, we'd be more efficient. We'd be more flexible, more adaptable. Businesses would be, there would be so many more benefits, but everyone has become convinced in the rights of the property owner, the rights of the shareholder. Well, they invested, they made sacrifices, they took chances, so they own it all. What about the guy or the woman who fucking slaved away to create the dream for that shareholder? Right?
Yeah, we need more equality. We're lacking in this equality, and the downtrodden at the bottom, they're not getting their just desserts, their fair share of what's happening. The rich shareholders are just taking over, like what's that company? Vanguard and BlackRock, all those huge billion-dollar company, like multi-billion-dollar company or trillion-dollar companies. They're controlling all this shit, and they're just reaping and all the rewards. And these poor bastards at the bottom that are just getting a pittance of money handed to them, a few dollars an hour. And yeah, I get what you're saying, Jack. We need more equality.
The point is thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The equality, even the relationship between employees and supervisors, employees and managers, particularly at the Postal Service, man, it's a very obedience-driven, fear-driven organization. It's a very strict and disciplined mindset, but it creates these illusions. And as a young man, I was afraid of bosses. They were human beings with a different job than me, and I was afraid that they could hurt me.
Oh, yeah. I actually, what you just said, I think that's probably pretty common, not just to Jack. I think there's probably a lot of young men and women that are afraid of their bosses. You know, I think some people are afraid to speak about these things openly. And somebody the other day, I was having a chat talking about equality and all this stuff, and they tried to call me a champagne socialist. And I said, I hardly ever drink champagne. I don't know what you're talking about. I hardly ever have a glass of champagne. What are you talking about? They said, you sound like a champagne socialist. You're a Marxist. Because I said about equality. And I said, I don't drink champagne that often. I have it once in a while with orange juice, but.
Sorry, taking us off that, but from something you said, the idea of equality. This is what I want to do. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I believe it's time. And if it's not Jack, get someone else to do it. Please, I'll support anyone who does it better than me. But I think it's time.
Why are they against this? Sorry, but why are they against this? What's the? That's what I don't understand. What's the opposition? What's their? What's their counter argument? We'll say. What's the counter argument?
I can offer a little bit here. Well, first of all, and this is kind of why I wanted to come up and talk with Jack, because of his objective truth claims that I think he's on target with. So it really comes down to the definition of the terms. The divide is in how we view the same narratives that are viewed differently. Like equality to one is not equality to another. And I can get into that, but I'm not going to. Essentially, the opposition would say that there is no perfect system, and in a perfect socialist system, power exists in a vacuum. So someone will always take power, and really the only answer.
Do you believe that we need to end capitalism? You're kind of being a little bit vague, so I'm trying to get specific. Do you think we should end the current capitalistic, predatory, we'll call it, system? What would you say to that, Mister?
I would say that a utopia is impossible, because every time people have tried it, again,
it can't
someone
be with capitalism. It's not a utopian system right now with capitalism.
Yeah,
right?
Capitalism is not perfect, but it's the best system we have available. I think.
How would you know? We're not even trying anything else.
Thank you, Denizen.
You don't have any evidence for anything else, and since when do we stop trying things because we failed at it? Like what? Flight
Yeah,
is impossible. Rockets are impossible.
Dennis, and these questions, Mr. Mister, these are kind of what I was.
And peace.
No, I hear you. I
That's
hear you,
impossible.
but again, it comes down to the definitions. So
Well,
you know,
right.
you look at these things like, and that's why I'm trying to bring it back to that, because we can go into you know, my definition of true socialism, Marxism, and all that stuff would not be the same as yours. This is why I don't do debates, because you go in there and it's a circle jerk, pretty much.
Well,
And
we could define the terms though in a conversation.
Yes,
We don't have to debate that way. You could just tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think. We can see if we can come up with another term that's even better or more accurate, in order to understand where we're both coming from, and then move the conversation forward.
Do you believe a utopia for the people, no matter what label? You don't have to call it Marxist, capitalist, is possible. Do you believe that something working for the people is possible?
No, because perfect equality is not achievable, because you would always, there would always be dissent, and there would always be a minority that doesn't agree.
Why do you want to believe that?
I don't want to believe that that's the case.
No, wait. Before you object, think the thought through, because you believe it. It's a thought you chose to believe. Otherwise, you'd have continued looking for other evidence. You'd have continued looking for other thoughts. But it's a thought that you've found comfort with, and it's a symptom. What I'm observing is a symptom that's common through today.
Okay, all right. Let's look at on the mic. Let's look at it on the micro scale. All right. Do you think that Islam would ever agree with Christianity in a sense?
You're kind of deflecting from the point I was trying to make into creating raising another argument. And so that's going to perpetuate the disagreements rather than finding a resolve, because Dennison already pointed out that we can have conversations identifying loose definitions of words. We can find where we do agree so that we can have productive conversations. So
yeah, if you don't care about the words, then they don't become a problem.
Well, I'm trying to give you an example of where a disagreement would lie. And what I mean by this is, okay, so we saw in Minnesota with the whole, transformer issue, they had a Islamic protest at a city hall. So I'm just saying these little, macro problems are a side effect of a larger issue going on, and you're never going to be able to erase that. That's why
hold
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've got to call you out when you're just wrong. You're making absolutes in the future. Who the fuck are you to predict the future of what people can or cannot do? I mean, the question I asked you, I'm trying to get you to reconsider your doubts. When I asked you, why do you want to believe that? Because if you can believe that there's hope out there, you'll fucking take actions. But if you believe there's no hope, you're going to find excuses. And then if we find excuses, we live mediocre lives. And if we live mediocre lives, we put on fake smiles and we go through the motions, and people think we're happy and we tell people we're happy, but we're fucking lying. We're not
fortune tellers. So Jack's right. You're trying to talk about the future. You're not a fortune teller, and neither am I. None of us are. And one of the girls in the chat actually made a great point. They said that Mr. Mister went from economic systems to religious ideologies. So you kind of trying to shift the focus away from what Jack's saying. Let's focus.
They're linked.
All tied together. I get. They are linked. There's clear links between all.
Sometimes the girl makes a good point. Lindsay made a good point there.
Can you explain the links to me, because I don't see it?
The good point? You don't see?
Good point. Lindsay made a good point, but I don't see the link between the religious. Like, I think that Mr. Mister was trying to get away from the economic systems to Islam or whatever. So I don't know. Go ahead,
I
Jack.
want to swing back to that. Thank you, Stephen. I want to swing back to the idea of the utopian government, because I think what Mr. Mister was pointing out by going from economics to religion was to point out clear disagreements, patterns of disagreements, and historically, yes, mankind has been divided. We've been broken, and all sorts of shit has happened. But that question Denizen asked, it's real common for us in our mind to use the logic, and we'll think the past creates the future. The past is predictive of the future. It is predictive of the future if we don't change. But the whole conservative party is about don't change. And then the left, the liberal progressive is putting on this facade of pretending to bring change, and people have been unwilling to change. But the point is, we can't let the past be the limiting predictor on what the future can bring. I think you dropped out, Mr. Mister. Welcome back.
Yeah,
I
sorry
want to
about
say
that. I'm
something.
driving a truck.
Welcome back.
That
Mr.
same
Mister.
claim for what will happen in the future, though, say for example, ending all wars, that is it's on the same level as claiming you can never end all wars. So,
I have
so
an
you see an
analogy.
abundance of evidence that it has to be happening, and he sees an abundance of evidence that it will never happen.
Stephen, you were trying to get in there, but
yeah. I just wanted to say something to Mr. Mister to maybe help him out a little bit with this. If you're driving your truck, you can't predict the future by driving, looking ahead and looking in your rearview mirror, because you're looking at the past. You got to look through the windshield. None of us can predict the future by looking at the past saying, oh, it's never been done before. Jack wants to do what's never been done before, but looking at the past doesn't mean you can't do it. So anyway, go ahead, Jack.
That analogy reminded me of one I heard from other coaches, right? We go through life and it is a forward direction. The boat analogy is great, but we get so hypnotized watching the wake behind us, watching the waves crashing away from the boat.
Yeah.
And we're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But this is what I've learned. My life, I made a choice to make a change. And then when I started looking into and applying the principles of self-development, I realized this life is mine to create. Your life is yours to create. If you can believe in the God, the divine intelligence, that divine intelligence that brings forth life through light and energy. I mean, we literally come from nothing. We're fucking walking bags of spaghetti noodles and water and salts and these calcium.
I like spaghetti. I'm sorry. I do like spaghetti.
Well,
but I get your point.
The intricacies of our bodies. Yeah, we've got experts in medicine and they've devoted their lives to trying to understand the patterns of life, but the number of variables that are involved in everything, who we are, who a man is, who you are, who I am today, there are infinite variables involved. But this ego mind of ours, the mind that thinks it knows, it wants to label everyone and wants to jump to these conclusions and these judgments. Oh, that one's not good. Oh, that one's not good. Oh, that one's wrong. Those are games for the mind. The untrained mind plays games, and the games can cost you your life, your soul, your happiness. The power of the mind. God has given us everything we need to bring heaven to this world.
The power of the mind and the power of love and imagination to imagine a better world than what we currently exist in We don't have to be limited by the past. Yeah, there were world wars and there's all kinds of shit that happened here, but we don't have to keep repeating it.
One of the big ones I faced, especially early in my spiritual faith, the question, well, how can you love a God who brings so much evil? Where's the Christ in someone like Hitler? If you look at the bigger picture, World War II, America, take American history since World War II, and holy shit, the games that have been played, the games that they have been playing against you, against me, against our freedom, our sanity, the games that have evolved since World War II. Absolute.
So much trickery, deception, and
thank you.
Cold War. Yeah. The deception and the lies that the tricks. Yeah, it's been a lot.
Here's the other side, right? If I'm not mistaken, I believe Carl Jung was heavily influenced from the atrocities of World War II. His mind and the minds of many psychologists, many philosophers since that time, they've been studying the facts, studying the history. What was real? How did the common average German man become a part of something so atrocious? So there was incredible developments made from the studies that the Nazis made on the people in camp, from the Japanese Unit 731 or whatever. The Japanese had another unit as well that was deeply involved.
Yeah.
Experimentation.
I looked into that. Gross. Yeah. Sorry, but it was horrible. Horrible tortures and experiment. Yeah, I know what you mean. You mentioned that.
American history is sick. However, collectively, there's been a lot learned. And there's been a lot of men and women who have achieved great things coming out of these periods of despair and pain. One of the yes.
Go ahead.
Well,
don't let me stop you there.
Here's a specific example just came to mind.
That's what I was going to ask for.
Dr. Gabor Mate. He's currently today, in my opinion, one of the best leading experts and one of the best teachers in the principles of trauma, healing emotional trauma. His birth was started out as an infant being passed off by his mother so that he could survive the raid of the Nazis, right? He started out as an unwilling, unknowing victim of war. And his mind, his life story, bringing him into a path of working as a physician, firsthand dealing with the trauma of poverty and the day-to-day patients he was seeing, he developed through his experience and his personal investment. He's bringing the world some amazing methods of healing. Okay, some clarity and answers. We're living at a time right now. We got into earlier, some of the topic was about revolution and violence, replenishing the what was it, the field of liberty?
Yeah.
Tree of liberty with the blood of justice.
But yeah, blood of tyrants. But what we should do is with the love of patriots, the love of people instead of blood, right?
Well, where my mind has gone is, first we have the wonderful example of Gandhi, his nonviolent actions. The work of him and many others were influenced and raised Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? And so we've had, throughout the collective history, we've had success in organizing together, leading nonviolent actions together. So we've learned from that. We found the value in that. There's also Dr. Rosenberg, I think that's his name, authored and is put out methods of nonviolent communication. We have today, because of all the atrocities of the past, because of the time and investment, the education that other men and women, other scholars and scientists, all these people have put in together, have raised the available knowledge that's there for you and I.
Yes. And that is a positive.
Yes.
That's a positive. So something positive came out. And sometimes, like Jack says at once in a while, that things can be simple. And I like that because, and this is an example, one time, and this is right on topic, just it'll take a few seconds. I went to a Popeyes, and they had just opened, this was decades ago in the city where I used to live. And I was the only white person that walked in there. True story. They were all black people and brown people. And I love fried chicken. And I held up a drumstick. And another guy looked over at me and he held up a drumstick and we said cheers. And we bonded over fried chicken. It can be that simple. No words were even spoken. I didn't give a big speech. It just like I felt out of place at first because I was the only white person in the place. And the place was packed. It was grand opening. Never been a Popeyes there. This was a couple decades ago. And yeah, I mean, you can relate on a level of just enjoying the same food. It can be something as simple as that.
Stephen, I love that you brought that up because initially you notice the differences. But when you look beyond the difference and the separation, you can find the similarities. And when we can find the similarities, and that's where the connection happens.
Yes. And just because like we could enjoy similar things, there's similarities with us. I get what you're saying.
This is where the words from the scripture can be very helpful. It ties back to one of the earlier discussions we were having too regarding the definition of perfection. If you can see the Christ in others, you can see the Christ in you. If you can see the Christ in you, you can see the Christ in others. And if you can see that, well, then you can see the goodness in both. And if you can see the goodness in both, you can find the similarities. There's all sorts of ways to do it, but we find what we seek. The words of wisdom from the Bible, those words are true. I didn't take them seriously. I didn't understand the value of what they meant, but the more I've been spending time thinking about thinking, the more time I've been paying attention to life, the more those words, I have found myself saying things that sound just like the words from the Bible, just maybe slightly different words. It's coming naturally, right? And there was a point I was getting to. It has to do with seeing we seek that which you seek, you shall find. Seek the answers. Seek what you want. There's many people. This thought came up because not long ago, someone reached out to me and they said that they were wanting to heal their trauma and they were interested in giving me a chance. Well, there hasn't been much follow through. And, I gave some ideas and haven't heard much back. But the point is, this person identified themselves as broken. They are, because they have that mindset that they're broken, that they're damaged, that their worth has been tarnished. And so that's exactly what they are. But the thought I was thinking, and swinging it back around to you finally again, Stephen, what you were saying, it really is. It's that which you want, you seek what you want, and what you seek you shall find. And if you want healing, look for the signs of healing. The signs of healing are going to be found next to the signs of being broken. Okay, and to tie it back to your example, the signs of being safe, being connected, being welcomed, those signs are there next to the signs that you're different, that you're not welcome, right? We get to figure, we don't want to lie to ourselves, but we don't want to make up stories either. That's the point. So I don't know. Life is an interesting.
It does feel good. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm convinced we're here to make it up as we go. Moment by moment, life happens.
Life is happening. Life is happening right now. It does feel good to get beyond that and have that acceptance, though, in those moments. That drumstick cheers with the spicy chicken that broke all the stereotypes that they say white people don't like spicy chicken. But I was right in there because I love spicy food. I love spicy chicken. I love spicy food. So you can break these barriers and stereotypes just by going somewhere and getting beyond your fear of being rejected or whatever. I mean, this sort of thing can work out in the moment.
It's amazing. I've been learning truly how to surrender. What is our purpose? That was a topic we discussed last night. And before I jump into that, I want to be polite. I want to swing back to Denizen too, if you've got anything, but I want to give Noel an opportunity. There's people in the chat who have been asking to hear from you, Noel. You want to say anything? Yeah.
Are you there, Noel? Can you hear us?
She might not be paying attention to this.
I wonder if she has us muted. Noel?
She is the best. As she wants to participate, she's welcome to. So this and that, for others who were concerned.
I hope Denizen didn't fall asleep. Noel looked like she was almost falling asleep a moment ago.
I have that tendency.
Did Denizen take a nap, or is he still with us? Oh, there he is.
No.
He's still here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just seeing we are about the 2-hour mark. Maybe it's time to start wrapping up, doing some final words. But these conversations today, I don't know if we changed any minds, but these are conversations that I feel are important for us to have. Maybe we're not in the position of government. Maybe we're not in the position of executive, but we are in the position of being human beings together. And we're all living this life. While we are apart, we're all in this together, one way or another. We're more powerful if we unite.
Yes. I think it was an excellent conversation. I don't know why this guy in the chat keeps asking, can you ask King Stephen if he is Jewish? No, I'm not Jewish. I was born and raised Irish Catholic. I'm not Jewish. Not Jewish, not kosher. I'm not vegan. I'm a carnivore. Anyway, I think it was a great. I honestly think that we made an impact on minds and hearts. I don't want to underestimate people. I think there's people that some of this is reaching them. It's getting through, and there's layers of walls maybe some people have put up, but it's piercing through and it's soaking in. Slowly it's getting through to them, and it's starting to percolate in their minds like a coffee maker, and it's starting to perk up a little bit, and they're starting to go, oh, wait a second, this is making sense now.
Stephen, yes, thank you. Thank you for that added confirmation, because that's what I try and tell myself too, is that I don't always see the results, but I know my intentions are good. So I trust that eventually the seeds, the ideas will be planted. And I went through these powerful experiences in myself within. Things would just click. All of a sudden, the pieces would come together, or there'd be a feeling that starts arising. And as I give that attention and the words start coming together in my mind, telling me the pieces, holy shit. Your perspective can twist and change.
Oh yeah, big time.
That is the path.
It's
Change.
magical. I mean, God is a magical being. He's supernatural. I heard a story of a guy that one time that meditated and God reached him without any drugs, no drugs involved, and he felt like God transformed him in that meditation into a dragon. And he was a talking dragon, and then he came out of it with more spiritual wisdom, but he was able to communicate with God while he was meditating drug-free. So there's miraculous things that can happen in this realm, and people should stop. They should just try to open their mind and say, you know what, that might be possible, and just consider it, you know.
Stephen, that it reminded me, I think it was something Denizen brought up earlier. Something about the differing points of views. Everyone has a different view, but this is where the magic actually happens. If we can start listening and learning from the other views, people don't always communicate clearly. They don't always communicate accurately, right? The prideful and the lazy, they exaggerate a lot of things. So it's hard to know what is real. But if you pay attention to what is true for you and you listen to others as though it is true, you can find the similarities, you can find the agreements, and then figure out where the differences are.
Yes. I don't know if Denizen's ever been a dragon, but I think I've heard he makes a hell of a pastrami deli sandwich.
I saw that coming.
Dude.
I always say that. I have to put that in there. It's a long-standing running joke, but I do love those pastrami sandwiches from delis. Oh man, really good.
Actually, I just found it. Flow State was bragging about the barbecue here in Kansas City, which I'm sure absolutely it's got a great reputation. But dude, there's an app called Happy Cow, and it shows you all the vegan places. Dude, there is so many amazing vegan choices all around here. So I went out and I had an amazing barbecue jackfruit sandwich today. It's like a sloppy Joe type texture, and or a pulled pork type texture. It was amazing, and I might actually head back to that place because they had another sandwich, like a Monte Cristo or something I wanted to try. So,
a vegan Monte Cristo? Really? There's a vegan Monte Cristo?
Yeah, it's all plant-based. Yeah.
Wow. See, when I thought of vegans, I thought they just eat like salad bowls and stuff like lettuce, and I didn't even know what vegans ate. I thought they were going around like chomping on a carrot or something. I had no idea because I wasn't raised that way. I didn't know any vegans growing up where I lived.
Actually, growing up, I was a vegan. My stepfather was a vegan, so our family was that way. And that was the type I was back in the early 80s. It was just, you fucking grow it and you eat it. That's the way you live. And, but these days, man, they've got like oat milk ice cream and so many. I've actually developed a greater sweet tooth. I eat more brownies and cookies and shit like that these days than I do before I turned to plants. But I don't.
You don't eat what? Sorry,
I don't eat. It's without dairy.
No dairy in the brownies or all the baked goods or whatever. Yeah. I used to like we where I grew up. A lot of people were farmers and just like dairy farms and cattle and pig farms and pig roasts. And I don't know if you've ever had a roasted pig on a spit, but oh my goodness, you'd never call me Jewish if you saw the amount of pig meat and the bacon that I've eaten in my life.
Baby back ribs, and yeah, I would just I'd fry up pans of bacon and just eat bacon for a meal. I mean, yes,
Oh yeah. Bacon and eggs. Steak and eggs is one of my favorites. Steak and eggs with bacon. Oh, it's just so good for breakfast or dinner. I can't help it, Jack. I'm I'm a carnivore. I think I might be part vampire or something. I love rare steaks, just as rare as you can get. Just like flip it on one side on hot or high heat and flip it over on the grill, and that's it. Just red inside and just as bloody as can be. I just love those bloody red steaks. I don't know. There's something about me. Maybe it's my blood type, or I don't know what it is. But what do you think, Dennis? And do you like rare steaks, or what do you eat?
Yeah, it depends on the steak, you know. And
What about a ribeye or T-bone?
and the implementation. So,
Oh man,
like
I'm hungry.
I like a ribeye rare.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Rare to, I like a T-bone medium rare, rare to medium rare. You gotta cook the T-bone a little bit more because of the bone, right? So otherwise, it's less than rare at the bone, and that's just a waste.
Think about the different things we've learned.
About steaks?
About everything. Everything we've learned has come from other people. Everything.
It's all stories, too. Like, that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Which is not very fucking efficient, but I hate admitting it, but it is what it is.
We're storytellers, right?
Yeah. It's all about narrative. It's what drives everything. And there's a you know, in essence to that, there's extra information in the narrative that otherwise cannot be communicated, right? There's something gained that we have that other methods of communication would not have, but there is so much lost as well.
That efficiency of communication. And you're right. I realized this a while ago. There's one author of history. You know, we're still just a continuation of the stories from the Bible. There's that author, and then we each. I tell myself stories, and that's the life I live. And then you learn your stories. You learn your stories. You tell me your stories. I tell you my stories. We're stories, exchanging stories. And that's not very efficient. Words are not actually as efficient as we think. It's through the power of words that we gain our understandings, but it's also through the power of words that we find ourselves completely lost. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God.
Paradox. It's like a double-edged sword, because the words can be swords. They can be misunderstood, but they can also relay what we're thinking and feeling and experiencing and knowledge and everything else. But they call the Bible the greatest story ever told.
Not to take you off from that, but go beyond the words. Love requires no words. Matter of fact, love, words don't do love justice, not when it's true love. There's no words that are worthy. And words create our stories, right? So to move beyond the stories, it's Thich Nhat Hanh. I stumble on his name. Anyway, I think he's credited with the saying of go beyond the field, go to the field beyond the right and the wrong. And that's where we can meet, where we have peace, where we unite is beyond the right and wrong, beyond and uniting with that which is. And that which is beyond words. That which is life, is love. It is who we are. We've been taught to let words define us. We've been taught to allow ourselves to be defined by words. It's an aspect of the mind. It's a small variable in who we are. But the story, I agree,
I agree, because when someone, or when you love something so much, it is beyond words. Someone or something. It's been said even by some of my people in my life, like ex-girlfriends, that they know I really love something when I just stop talking and I'm eating ribs or something. I'm in love at that moment with the ribs. I'm not even saying anything. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to say this is delicious. I'm just eating and just going, it's just, you can tell that I love that in that moment. And it's similar. It's not just with food, but it's a similar thing where there's no words. The words don't do it justice, like you said. You don't need words.
There's a strength and a power in silence. This has taken us clear off of that topic, but it's in line. The strength and the power of silence. It is love without words. That's who we are. Who we are when we practice meditation, when we practice inner reflection. You become the being without words. You become the being, the vessel of love, of energy, of life, because that's who we are. We're not the body. The body is an aspect of us. It's not the totality of us. The body is a vessel. It's a vehicle. It's like a astronaut suit.
That's what David Icke says, that the body's a vehicle. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but David Icke is like, it's just a vehicle, mate. The body's, it's just a vehicle. And what you brought up about words, I mean, Depeche Mode said, words are very unnecessary. Yes. They can only do harm. That's true. I mean, enjoy the silence song. I mean, it all relates. It all ties in together.
Depeche Mode, man. I was rocking Depeche Mode back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
Good stuff.
Words are very unnecessary. They hit the nail on the head.
We have had the truth. The answers have been available for mankind. If you look at the collective and you look at the information and the answers, it's been available through the writings, through the literature, through the philosophy. It's been there in the music. It's been there in the paintings. It's been there in the cinema. The truth has been there. Why are we not?
It's true throughout life. It's almost like God sending us signals, right? Messages. Yes. Wherever we look in lyrics, songs, cinema, it's everywhere. It's right there.
That is it. And this is what I actually think back to the political stage again. Why is this stuff happening in the world? God's revealing it. God is showing us the bold and the arrogant, the selfish and the powerful, they become more emboldened. They're taking stronger action. Although, actually, I should step back because there was some changes. I heard the Pope passed away, and I heard Klaus Schwab stepped down. Did that happen?
Oh, I didn't hear about Klaus Schwab. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
He stepped down. Wow.
I don't know for sure. That's what I heard secondhand and didn't confirm the report, but there's stuff happening.
88, they said. He was 88. The Pope was 88, my age, 88. So that's a magical number, they say, with the infinity, double infinity symbol. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't know.
Well, everything is a sign. Everything is revealed through signs and symbols. Words are symbols. They're pointing at things. Golly, geez, it comes back to our conversation.
Noelle doesn't look impressed, but I think she's still tuned in. Noelle, are you with us? She hasn't said a word on here. It's very unusual, but anyway. Sam said, yes, Klaus stepped down.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a big sign.
There's something going on. So I wonder, is that Noah Uvalde or whatever his name is? Noah Uvalde? The guy who says that people are programmable animals. He's the advisor to Klaus Schwab. I wonder if I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to do some searching. And for those who are willing, look into that too. I'm curious. But here's the point. The world is being revealed to us day by day, moment by moment. Every day, every moment, the question is upon us. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with what you've learned? What are you going to do with what the world has shown you? I started getting shown a lot of the history of America, a lot of the disgusting history of America that I've been a part of. I'm not going to deny that. I played my roles, put on the uniforms, and fucking played the games. I was a part of that. I started seeing it different than I used to. And then I started reevaluating some of my priorities. And what I realized is I didn't have as many reasons, legitimate reasons to be angry or afraid. Not when I started looking at the bigger picture. Because in the bigger picture, if you're here, tuned in, safe and comfortable, available electronics and time at your luxury to, just chill out and tune in, praise God. You are amongst the blessed. We are.
I feel blessed. when you said, I gotta be honest though, when you said about the disgusting history of America, I started thinking, is he going to point out some shady characters in the chat room and say their ancestors? I don't know, but anyway, yeah.
This online has been an interesting experience for sure, but it's a part of our life, guys. And to swing it back to something we were talking earlier, at some point there's going to be a shift and there's going to be a click in the minds of people. Stephen, it's been blowing my mind. Why have I found so much opposition?
I just think a lot of it is strong delusion. I really do. I think there's a spiritual aspect to whether people can tune in and pay attention and listen and learn and understand and comprehend. And some people might show up, but it's like they're not here. They're here, but they're not here. Like Chuck is an example. I don't want to single him out, but he's just a prime example. Like he's here.
I feel like I do show up and I do tune in and I listen, not only here, but to the universe. And I've had the same spiritual experiences that everybody claims to have had to make them Christian. And I come to a different conclusion. And I would argue that it's a reasoned one and a logical one.
You're arguing,
and I don't believe, like Jack and I have 98% of our belief system is aligned, which is why I think we get along, right? Because I'm not very good at getting along with people. But that 2% where we disagree, I think is not a failure. Like it's not a delusion on my part, And if I didn't, if I were a bit less or thin-skinned and I didn't know you the way I do, Stephen, then it would almost be insulting. Like maybe if I was someone who was quick to get to feel insulted,
Oh, I'm not being insulting.
No,
I'm not here to insult Hank or anybody.
I know. I think I know you well. I know you well enough to know when you're kidding, when you're jabbing, when you've actually lost your temper and you're trying to be a dick, and when you're just trying to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I rarely lose my temper, even with Hank. But hello, Hank. Good to see you.
Yeah, but you sometimes do, King Stephen, but we still like you for it.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
Welcome, Hank. Were you joining with an idea, Hank? I'm going to give you a chance if you did.
No, you can keep going or end the show, whatever you want to do, Jack.
Much love and respect. It was something Denizen was saying though. The 2% where we disagree. I don't have clarity on where our disagreement is, to be honest.
I don't think you or anyone else is going to stop all wars. I think it's inherently built into the human system. We have to stop the war within ourselves first. Mm-hmm. I will not say that it can never happen, but if I step into the goal that I want, which is peace and universal love and an end to all lies, which again we agree upon, right? Then I work backwards. The human species has not yet made the prerequisites. And then if I just take the available information that I have, I say that it could be possible, but most like humans aren't very proactive. We're very reactive. So we have to come to the brink of destruction, evolve just a tiny bit in order to avoid complete disaster, and then we go right back to our scarcity thinking. Now this
I
can't
don't think
last
we
forever.
have to go to the brink
Either
of
we will
destruction.
destroy ourselves entirely, or we will learn to let go of the scarcity mindset. This is just seems to be a logical conclusion to me.
What
And
about
I
great
actually
leaps, though?
believe that we will choose to let go of our ignorant past, that we will
Yeah.
not cease to exist. I don't take the route that we will self-destruct. And I also admit that there's a lot of hope and maybe even some faith involved in that calculation too, which gives me an even greater appreciation for the other side, so to speak. But I don't think it's going to happen with Trump. We're not like Jack. To me, Jack is a mutant. He's way ahead of his time in his thinking. These people are not even capable of listening to the message that he has, never mind understanding it. And that's not to say that it will never get there. And I don't even think he'll be given the chance, because we're still in a time right now where when you tell the truth, it makes you look like a crazy idiot. Most people think we're autistic retards and we don't know what we're talking about. And that's because they're too busy smashing each other over the head for food. And you gotta love how hilarious that is, but that's what it is.
But let me ask you something. You see that there's great leaps in technology, like the microchip and the internet and different things like that. Why couldn't we have a great leap in morality and peace, the
We
same
could.
as technological leaps? Is that within the
We could.
realm of possibility?
Yes, I would say it would require a catastrophe in order to be aligned with all of human history.
Why require
But I have
catastrophe,
admitted,
though? Why is that the requirement?
I have admitted on this channel too, Jack, though, that miracles are possible technically if you think about it. Sorry, what did you say, Stephen?
But why does it have to require catastrophe for it to happen? Why can't it happen?
I'm just looking at the available evidence. That's all I'm going by. That's usually how we roll.
Let me jump in here with some available evidence, because I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I've seen different. And so maybe that's why I have a different conclusion than yours.
If Noel could stop with straws, anything's possible. Sorry for jumping in, but anything is possible.
Everything's possible, but not everything's likely. That's the big difference. So it's possible, but if it's not likely, and I don't have a way to force the chances one way or another, well, I'm not gonna bet all my money on that.
But Hank, the unlikely happens every day. What Jack is doing is proof that the unlikely can happen. His mission and how far he's come already, it's proving what he's saying, that the unlikely does happen all the time.
Like it does happen. Like someone wins the lottery every day, but I wouldn't plan my life around winning the lottery because I can't change the chances.
Winning the lottery, that's different though.
It's not different at all. It's all a chance.
Here's what I'd like to offer is Jack Talcott as a specific case study, as a specific piece of evidence that is available to be reviewed and scrutinized and to be considered. Because I was an exception to that, Denizen. When I mentioned my friend Charles and others, they're still being very cruel to me. They're hoping to see me hit rock bottom. That's what I was told by Charles recently, after I've lost my career, my family, my life savings, my reputation, and my home. Charles and others are still waiting for me to hit rock bottom. Well, I've always been a little bit different than others. And one of the examples, Denizen, is I was a functioning alcoholic. People were making fun of me because last night I made the observation that in my past, anything I did well. I did pretty well at the things that I did. If I set my mind to something, I got the shit done. That included being an alcoholic. I knew how to follow the rules and get away with shit. I knew how to push the line.
Yeah.
But I was miserable. And I found my freedom. And the freedom in my life, Jack Talcott's life, the freedom came from the truth, finding the answers, the real answers that gave my heart peace, that brought my mind freedom. It was the truth that set me free. So I've already achieved in my mind and my heart, I have achieved peace on earth. I live in the presence of God, speaking daily and constantly with the Son of God, Christ, Jesus, who's in my mind through the day. He walks with me so that I walk with the Father. That was his prayer for us all to follow, is that we would walk with him as he walked with the Father, so that we be united as he. And if I'm right, God is using me, guys. I encourage you, find someone, a journalist, someone who actually wants to dig into the facts, someone who doesn't want to just debate and masturbate with their opinions against me. Look into what I'm saying. Because from what I can claim, God is real. I'm on the path. I'm on my way to Washington, D.C. The goal that's in my mind and heart is to find a way to connect with other people like me who believe it's time to end wars, regardless of what the past has shown. Just like when I chose to stop drinking, regardless of what the past had shown, it was time for a change. And I am so grateful I made that change. And the one regret I have is I didn't change sooner. Donald Trump and many people, and I suspect many people involved with me in my life, when they awaken to what has really been happening and what they've been denying, people will have regrets for not doing more. I don't want to go to the end of my grave. I don't want to cross the line and say, nope, I didn't do enough. How do we know when we've done enough? How do we know when to not try? How do we know when to quit? How do we know when to go forward? I mean, these are all things we got to figure out.
We had to use our intuition to figure out when to quit, because otherwise, or we just had to try it and just see it not work. That's so pretty much all two choices.
I think what's that?
Or after you could accomplish the task, you should quit too. So those are 3 cases you should quit. So after you get done,
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is. It comes down to intuition. It comes down to individual path, individual timing. But I don't remember who it was. I think it was Nietzsche. Someone in the past pointed out the idea that it makes sense. Each of us find ourselves in these mental prisons. Why would God not give the key to your prison to someone else? Maybe you have the key to my prison, right? We hold the keys to each other's success or failure. Whether we realize it or not, we do. But most importantly, we have in our hands the delegation of authority. Your life has been given to you. You can live it with love. And when we stay aligned with love, the truth is on our side. Even when we're wrong, when our intentions are true and honest and caring and, with love for others, when we stay with that, the truth is on our side. I feel comfortable at night. I sleep comfortably with a clear conscience. I have no guilt. I'm not despite the accusations by people like Chuck and Charles and all these other people, I sleep well at night. I have no guilt. I have no resentments. I have no fears that, oh my God, I'm going to get caught. Oh, they might find out that I said that. No, man. The point is, what if God is using me as an example for others, right? That's what Jesus was. And that's what we all are. We're all examples for each other. It's all by the grace of God. I don't know. What are your thoughts? There's a few more minutes. Our friend Station 33, Illumitami, he's scheduled to start up his stream, and I'm sure he'll be talking about me and other known characters tonight. He's starting soon, and I'm going to... Hey, I hope that's a joke, Austin. Actually, I hope that's not a joke, because that's not even funny, man. Fuck this place. No. Fuck that attitude, Austin. That's that attitude. No. Here, this, whatever the context, Austin, you know what's best for you, and I love you, brother, and I'm here for your support. As an addict, as an alcoholic, Jack, right? Those words, fuck it. Oh, those are the worst. Those are the most dangerous words an addict can say is fuck it. Oh, because I know what that means. That means bring it on, self-sabotage. Let's destroy this place, right? Use that.
I didn't know. He's an addict? Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
He's working on improving his own patterns and his own health. I don't know of an addiction, but there's patterns and habits. The point is, flip the script, right? Take that which is bad and make it good. Say it, give up. You're ready to say fuck it. Say fuck it in a good way, right? Go for a run. Go for an exercise. Go do something healthy to divert your mind, to change your body. Fuck it. Do something else.
Yeah, I support that. I did that with cigarettes years ago. I quit smoking and I said, fuck it. And I just quit. And I quit cold turkey. I did a water fast for 5 days. I didn't eat, just drank water, didn't smoke. And now it washed it out of my system. And then I was good because I was sick of not feeling good.
Stephen, that's another confirmation. Admittedly, I haven't explored that for my dependency on nicotine yet, but I know there's so many testimonies about fasting. If you're feeling ill and your body's not whole, not right, it's time to consider it. Maybe take a few days off of food and let your body restore to natural states.
There's something to it. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I'm just giving my experience here, and it worked for me. So you can flush it out. You can still exercise and sweat too, and take walks when you're fasting, and all that stuff. And also, the fasting really does a lot for your immune system, and it resets it. And there's a lot of it even resets your human growth hormone and stuff like that, and your hormonal system. Anyway, it's worth looking into for the people that want to look into it, especially for quitting a habit or something like cigarettes or something like that. It worked for me. So
there's actually a lot of variables involved that support why that succeeds. One of the most obvious to me with the studies of the mind is if you're going to break your body of habits, you've got to pay attention to your behavior. And the simple act of paying attention, it's going to change your behavior.
Well, Jesus fasted. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. So that's even in the Bible. It's biblical that it's supported by Jesus that fasting is something that's written about in ancient, like we're talking thousands of years ago. So it's been something that's been part of this realm or body, these bodies for thousands of years. So it's nothing new. It's not a new age type of thing or anything like that. It's old.
It's ancient wisdom. And as I don't have it memorized, but I believe there's lines in the scripture about when you fast, do this, not if you fast, but when you fast, do it this way, right? And That's the idea. Is we are our society. We've got to accept the facts, right? Let's look for our own patterns of denial. What am I denying? What have I accepted that I should not have accepted? Yeah, because then we're denying the fact that we've accepted what we should not have accepted. We're here. This is our lifetime. It's not over. It's not done. We're just getting started. We don't know how long it lasts. Some people hold on incredibly long. Some people don't make it very long at all. We're living at a time where we have the answers available. We have, through the technology and the internet, the communication, the tools, we have answers available. If we start helping each other through our trying times, right? One of the viewers considering a relapse, you know, if we can help each other through those trying times, if we can help each other solve temporary problems, holy cows, man, the world gets so much better. And we can. Will we find the willingness, or will we find the excuse? That's what it comes down to. Do we have the willingness or the excuse? Jesus had the ultimate willingness. He showed the perfect example, made the ultimate sacrifice. We don't know that our fate's going to go that way, but if you think that's going to be the way you're going to go, you know, if you think you're going to be tortured and hurt for trying to do good, you're probably not going to try to do a lot of good. I think that's part of the education, part of the process. Life shows us how unfair it is until you realize that it's actually a gift to begin with. That's what happened with me. I thought my life was unfair. I thought people were being unfair because I knew I wasn't lying, and I was trying to do the right thing, and I was trying to help people. And so it seemed it was, Dennis, and back to using me as an example, okay? There was so many unbelievable things that happened in my life. There was no one I could appeal to. There was no one I could talk to. I just had to accept what happened. So life is unbelievable. Life is unfair. There's people better than me who are in a lot more pain today than I am. We're all living these individual, unique lives. What are we going to do with them? My life, I spent many years living with insecurities, living with fear. I had faith in my problems. I had faith in my helplessness. Today, I have faith in me. And I have faith in me, who I am, who I have become, and who I am becoming. I have faith in me because I know I'm honest. I know I don't lie. I know I don't deceive. I know I'm not trying to hurt others. So how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong? And yet the people around me have challenges finding me doing anything right.
I've been thinking about it this whole time, and I think maybe love is
it's in the air. Love is in the air.
Right.
There's a direct relationship between love and vulnerability.
Yeah. Plus, those people around you aren't even near you, and those are just people who just don't already don't like you. I just wouldn't worry about them. But most of those people like that I interact with, I just burned those bridges and moved on. They're not worth trying to win over. I don't have grand plans that I need everyone to agree on to do, but I just it's not worth my effort, so I'm just gonna stop talking to them. But that's just me.
How do you know?
I don't know, and I honestly don't care. That I don't want to.
Fair
I don't.
enough.
Yes.
Hank, I love you. That's one of the reasons I love you, is you are honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't care. It works for me. I was just kind of pressing back anyway a little bit.
Yep. Because the cost of winning back's too damn high, so I said, cut it.
The cost of what?
Winning those people back is too damn high. I don't want to pay the price to get them all. Yeah. So I just said, nope. I noped out of there.
I think that's what others have done to me. They've considered that the cost and the risk of allowing me back in their lives, it's too much. It's not worth the risk. I'm not sure the right words I'm looking for. I haven't quite, there's some ideas that are here that I just haven't figured out what I want to offer, but it has to do with the idea of taking the words from the scripture and applying them for yourself. Placing some faith, try different parts, that you can logically bring into your relationship, into your fears, into your paradigms, whatever. Bring some of those thoughts and wisdom in and try it out. See if you can find evidence that supports your faith in God, supports your faith in you. Find the evidence that builds the good qualities, because it can be found. This is what my life has been doing. I found many opportunities in my life to practice forgiveness, to practice, acceptance, continuing perseverance, moving forward. Those were the things in my thumbnail today. I found lots of opportunities in my life to grow in these things. And I'm telling you, every one of us can. What Jesus said, his way, the way he was teaching, his mindset, his way of thinking, that is the way, the truth. It's the path for us to live. There's no other way we want to live. That's from my experience, but I'm not perfect. I'm not like Jesus and flawless, but I do know that having faith and walking with love, overcoming arguments and resentments and judgment, it freed up so much time in my day for more things I could deal with. We get to choose how we spend our day. How we spend our day is through how we spend our time. And if we don't pay attention to how we're spending our time, which many of us don't, many people are, what was pointed out earlier, disassociated. Their body is physically in the present moment, and they're halfway interacting. They're going through the motions of talking at other people. But their mind and their beingness is in the past, or it's in the future. It's not there. That's why the world is insane. It's because people are, I don't know the right words. They're not out of their mind. They're lost in their mind. And they're not absent. They're present physically, but mentally and emotionally, they're not there. We live in a world of insane people. Only the insane will tell lies. That's a bold claim, but think it through. How sane is it to be deceptive? How sane is it to tell lies, to place yourself above others, to place yourself above the power of the truth, to place yourself as the one who gets to decide? What is that? If we all just humble ourselves and find the goodness, to the pure see God. And, you know, the churches have taught people to accept less than, to subject themselves to the authority and the governance, to the supremacy of others. That kind of ties into the discussion of the Pope today. Is he a holy man? Or is he a man who's just playing a role as a holy man? I have my opinions. God bless him and rest his soul in his passing. Praise God. I'm feeling like it's about time to wrap up.
Praise God.
I'm going to forward to our friend Illumitami. He's scheduled.
Oh, I didn't mean to time it like that. I'm sorry. I meant to respond earlier, but I was going to say, if you allow me to, Jack, just to
Please,
give a
go
Bible
ahead.
verse here. Matthew 18:3. Truly I tell you, he said, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. So to be innocent and have a childlike mind, instead of being the way that many people are currently in this realm, we should be like children, innocent, curious, and not hateful towards each other. So I think I think that verse applies to what we've been talking about today here.
It absolutely does. I've been digging into this a bit too. Course in Miracles. And that you just said some words, Stephen, that I went to the book because recently in my experience, I've been using those prayers in my head, reclaiming my status. I'm reclaiming my status with the divine creator, with the Father of creation. I'm reclaiming my status to be restored to that which I was made. I was made pure and innocent and loved. You were made pure and innocent and loved. So restore yourself to innocence. Become honest. Confess your sins. Admit when you're wrong. Repent. Change your ways. And when we start doing that, life gets better. I believe that's who we are. It's our thoughts. It's our labels, our past memories. It's our karmic path. We've found our blindness. We've all found our comfort zones. We've all found unhealthy patterns. But if we reclaim ourselves as children of God, becoming devoted to love, to unity, to wholeness, unconditional love, love without conditions. Conditions come from words, right? Comes back to this whole play on words stuff we've been dancing around. But that scripture, Stephen, thank you. It's in line with what I've been practicing myself.
You're welcome. See, I do pay attention. I am paying attention when I'm here.
This has been great. Let's start wrapping up, please.
Yes, fantastic show. I think it was a great show today. Almost 3 hours, and one of your better shows in recent memory, as far as I can tell.
No
and I've been here
trolls.
for a lot of them.
You have. I appreciate that. Less trolls. You're right, Denizen.
No trolls.
Yeah, Lou
Yeah.
Bass wasn't here today, and
No
Chuck and some of the
trolls.
others.
I don't want to toot my horn too loudly. I'm just saying.
I didn't want to name too many names, but yeah, the troll army didn't arrive today.
Just like letting up the people who deliberately are coming to derail the conversation and turn it into a negative shit show.
Yes. Yes.
I tend to attract a certain type, and I attract a variety. And you know what? It's okay for those of you who tune in, or if you secretly tune in later so you don't get caught with the live group. It's okay. It's all right. You won't be judged for your addiction. It's okay to be a fan of Jack. It's okay to to tune in. It's okay to share support. You might get criticized and made fun of, but that's part of life.
I thought OTW might be trolling earlier, and I tried to shoo him away. But other than that, I mean, the show was trolls free.
It was
trolls free.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation that arose was a reflection of that. You know?
I agree.
Valuable, meaningful.
Here.
And you look good, Jack. It's good to see you.
Hey, Denizen, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate the conversations today. You guys brought some great discussions. And Stephen, yeah, I saw your defense, and I appreciate what you were doing. We did get some good conversations today, though. I really appreciated that.
Absolutely. I think we did.
I want to give Noel a chance before I throw you out. Do you want to at least say hi? Are you tuning in, listening? No? All right. Noel, even with your silence, I appreciate your joining. You got a beautiful energy and a beautiful smile to you, friend. So I'm going to drop you out. Denizen, Stephen, thoughts? Either one.
Go ahead, Denizen, if you want to go ahead. I just saw Noelle dropped off. I guess she didn't want to say anything. She gave us the silent treatment today, but anyway, I'll go first. I don't wish anyone here anything bad. I think Jack mentioned earlier that some people are hoping that he fails and all this sort of stuff. I think that's the wrong attitude to apply towards anybody, whether it's towards Jack and his mission or whoever it may be. I think that's very negative, and it's rooted in maybe jealousy or hatred or resentment or something. And I think that if we wish each other the best and hope the best for others and hope them to succeed and have that energy, that's a good kind of energy to have in this realm, regardless of what they're doing. I don't wish, if people are struggling with addictions or whatever it may be in the chat, I don't wish them harm at all. I don't wish them to relapse, even if we have disagreements or they don't like me or whatever the case may be with whoever it is. I don't wish people harm. And I think that's something that people need to kind of work on or get straight within their spirit in a way that they say to themselves, well, let's all try to wish each other better than wish others to fail or to, have hardships in life. It's hard enough going through life, and uplift each other if you can is my message today. And I hope everyone had a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for having me on, Jack, and God bless you all. God bless everyone here.
Hey, thank you very much, Stephen. I appreciate that. I was distracted doing some other administration, but Stephen, thank you sincerely. I appreciate you joining and everything you're bringing. We're crazy adventure with this.
Thank you, Jack. And God bless you, and thanks for having me on. Blessings.
Whoops. Sorry. You were continuing.
I was just going to say, bless you as well, Denizen, and God bless everybody here tuned in. Thanks for having me on, and great show.
Much love. Thank you, Stephen. Have a beautiful evening. Denizen, final words from you, brother?
Thanks for the chat. I'll see you next time.
Hey, much love, sincerely. To all of you who tuned in, joined, whether it's in the present time or the later time, I want to thank you. Right, this chats with Jack, this Jack Talcott lore, the Talcottian adventure, or just a group hangout. There are people joining in together. Whatever you're tuning in for, thank you. It's his life. This is my life. I can't believe my life brought me into this electronic social media crazy stuff, but this is the time we're living in, and this is the life I'm living. I've made my choices. I've adapted. I've overcome. I've learned how to flow. And brothers and sisters, if you can get within yourself that faith, that strength, that perseverance within yourself, is that up? What is going on there? If you can build those things, having a healthy relationship with you and the truth in your life, you get to know the peace, the faith, the perseverance that comes through those things. And there's no words that can do justice to those qualities, the qualities of goodness, the qualities of greatness, the qualities of life, the qualities of Christ, the qualities of perfection. Those are with you. They're with me. It's up to us to find the answers you want. They're waiting for you to find the healing, the evidence of the healing you seek. It's waiting to be discovered by you. Everything you want, it's already there. But bringing yourself, your awareness, your body, your experience, bringing your experience into the alignment so that you can create the opportunity, so you can be open to receive the answers that you seek. It's up to you. There's a lot of subtleties, and I realize my words may sometimes bring more confusion than answers, and that's not what my goal is. My goal is to help plant some seeds of thought with you, to help me articulate and get out some of these ideas so that I can become a more effective communicator, so that the people in the future, they don't have the problems understanding me that you do. But we're in this together. So you're at the early stages of this Jack Talcott story. And if you haven't done the subscribe thing and the algorithm thing, do the like thing and all that good stuff, please do that. Because one way or another, if you accept the facts for what they are, I know the odds are against me. I know it hasn't been done before. I know that what I'm saying, it just sounds crazy. But if you can see the value in it, there's a man who, through his education, developed built by organized labor, molded into a better man through the military and through organized functions. And then finding myself associated with Veterans for Peace, the purpose of peace, the love of God. The love of God I feel, that's what I want to share. Because if you felt the love I feel for God, you would feel God's love with you. And if you felt God's love with you and you have a love for God that you just don't know what to do with, well, then you're here with me. And we're in heaven. And heaven is the place to be, for it is without fear. I'm getting off in my own mind here, and I'm going to go spend time alone with some of these thoughts. Brothers and sisters, sincerely from me to you, with love and care, deepest appreciation. Thank you, sincerely. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all, and peace.